Hi guys, good morning. I thought I would show you this confusion herd again. It's very odd. I want you to look at all these names in Utah for the other herds that they have. They have something called choke cherry, uh, chloride canyon. I mean, how do they use chloride? Why don't you think about that? Conger, I don't know if you remember Darva Conger on that married show, but she's somebody I knew as a child. What was it called? Like, you know that show where they would get married on the show, and then she came out and said it was all fraud, it was all fake. That's Darva Conger. I'm having some coffee. It's got half and half in it and sugar in it. So, if we're in wartime, I still have those things, in my cup. So anyway, look at all these: Tilly Creek, Swassee Mountains HMA, Sulphur HMA, Sinbad. I mean, this is like a very weird list of loose horses, right? So they show this picture of loose horses, wild horses, beautiful terrain. And look why they're calling them, look at this. The original source of the animals is in this herd is unknown. Well, I think we discovered the government has a program where they are stealing children or making it look like they're stolen. And what I recommend to everyone on here, and, I know you might disagree with me, but get a DNA test to find out if you're really an orphan and if those are really your parents, or if they just sold you into some kind of guardianship under AIEA where you don't have access to your money. Yet they take your money for loans for school when they're not supposed to. If you're adopted, they're not supposed to. Recently, I found that the adopted records are discoverable. They are discoverable online. They hide them and say that they're not discoverable because they're keeping children as slaves. I mean, this is what it is. It's very sick and very well hidden. Why these children are being kept as slaves, I don't know. But you're frozen as a child on paper, even if you're not a child, even if you have a perfect capability of thinking. And they torture you. They send people, flying monkeys, like we learned in The Wizard of Oz, to torture you. That's why on so many of the background checks of my, people I knew, it says sexual assault of children, or it says Karen Tucker hit a child, because they know how to find the children that are being kept illegally in this immigration way, because some sites upload it. They upload who the adoptive parents are. They upload papers and witnesses and numbers of cards. But these children aren't, they're like put into a card catalog as if they're a library. The children are as if they're a library, where they don't have normal rights to their own money. They don't have rights to their own fortune, directing their own fortune. Instead, they have people that are selling their body parts. And no, Somebody said I can't prove BLM is not BLM. BLM is BLM, you guys. They just change what what the rest of the word is. I think BLM is the same exact thing. It's actually government. It's government that's doing it. It's government that's the racist, if you want my opinion. They're offering rights to certain groups and depriving rights to these groups. To the confusion herd, where it says they don't know where they came from. They've got bays, browns, blacks, sorrels. Remember, brown can be the name of it can be a family name. Bay, Michael Bay can be a family name. Black can be a family name. Sorrel can be a family name. With some other colors mixed in through the population, these horses tend to be taller and heavier than other BLM wild horses in western Utah. It is hypothesized that this may be due to the proximity of the herd management area to ranches located near the towns of Gandy, Partoon, and Trout Creek, and the probability that domestic stock were introduced into the herd prior to 1970. So again, the original source is unknown. And that's not true. They know where the horses came from. They're stolen from their families. They're stolen from their families. Or they're taking the ovaries or the uteruses and they're growing them outside of the body so that the government has rights to the child. And then instead of giving the child the same rights in, constitutionally, the rights to freedoms guaranteed by our Constitution, they lock it up somehow in court, where in immigration court, you're frozen forever at this age, 5 or 2 or whatever, frozen at this age. And then they put you under the rule of AIEA, which does business with UCLA and all the people I've been talking about, to hide that children are actually kept as slaves. So if you're being kept as a slave under the protocol, the guardianship should really pay for your education. But what UCLA is doing, like what my dad did, is they want to have fines and fees to cut those fines and fees out of you. Like, oh, well, we took $10 million against her body, so far, or 20 million. She'll never be able to pay that back because we're stealing all her money. We're stealing her rights to her money. So we're going to cut it out of her, which is illegal under the FCRA. You're not supposed to just go cut debt out of a person, a pound of flesh, or 2 pounds of flesh. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to say, hey, you're in all this debt. I know you didn't know about it. Your father took out, millions in loans for himself and used your body as collateral. And we know you didn't know, but you have, a year to pay us back the $20 million. And then you, by hook or crook, could get the money to pay them back the 20 million. But if you don't know about the 20 million, what they're doing is they're just, they're defrauding the government, but it's the government doing it. The government is doing the fraud through Cindy Perkins and Cynthia Ruff and Leslie Stevens, who are all signing documents pretending that you are giving up your rights to your own property as a hate crime against you because they're calling you a wild horse. Now, we know the wild horses from the Rolling Stones. You can look at those lyrics if you want, but I just want to show you The HMA is bounded by cowboy. A cowboy is somebody who does whatever they want. Lawless people on the south, and the Weiss Highway. Weiss has come up over and over again. This person, Marilyn Weiss, came up over and over again as somebody who is in bed with UCLA. Now, this is something I want to also point out before reading the rest of this, is that they also place people at your schools. At your schools. You'll have somebody come into school who's actually an agent. They're an agent for the federal government who will try to get you to shoplift or try to, because you don't have rights to money like everyone else does. It's probably pretty easy to get an underage child to shoplift, but even the sister will shoplift. So what they want to do is see how easy it is to get you to commit crimes. So when you have nothing and no one, it's probably pretty easy for them to try to frame you for crime. So these people in your high school that are befriending your children, I mean, usually the whole family knows about it. So, this is something, I guess, just to look out for yourself if anybody's watching that's in any kind of high school program. Or you'll go to a dance club or, and they'll just keep saying, oh, we saw her at that dance club. She snuck out. She's bad. She's immoral or I mean, it's all, they're using Mormon law and Christian law and, they're using different laws, different groups, to basically hurt children. And I can't believe that AIEA is allowed to exist when they know they're stealing organs from children. Vegetation is in the area is made up of three main types: salt bush grass, black sage grass, and rabbit brush grass. Key species include Indian rice grass, bottlebrush, squirrel tail, galeta, needle and thread, sand drop seed, and winter fat. Now, this is very weird little grouping. Needle and thread. Come on. They take out the tissue and then they put you back together with a needle and thread like Humpty Dumpty. In addition, some juniper trees occur on the tops of the low mountain ridges. Permanent waters are located along the west side of the HMA, along the drainage bottom of Snake Valley. Right? You're in Snake Valley, you guys. You're in it. Snake Valley is everywhere. SV, Snake Valley. These waters originate as springs in what is known locally as salt marsh. Horses also water at Coyote Springs on the east side of the HMA in Tulle Valley. Tulle is Tulle, Tulle, is it's fabric, and this is hidden very, very often in fashion lines, as we saw when I found the Greg Lauren documents that were actually Homeland Security documents. There's a distance of 24 miles between the two permanent water sources. There's that 24 again. Water is also occasionally available at the Hole in the Wall reservoir, located near the north boundary of the HMA. During the winter months, the horses use snow as a water source in the Middle and Granite Mountains. Yeah, supposedly. supposedly.